All right, all right, all right. What's going on, everybody? How you doing? I'm Jay. Welcome to the Owner Live channel and our live stream about the Traveler's Journal notebooks. And I thought that on this channel, I was talking about tech stuff that's happening. Like what the cameras we're working with, as well as accessories we're buying. This one's definitely a lot more low tech than what we would normally do. But I thought I'd share with you today, and I think it's kind of fun. It's a little project that I've been working on. It's going to be a long-term project. But anyway, so if you're not too familiar, there is a company called the Travelers Company, and these they make these little notebooks. And basically, these notebooks are, let me pull one up here for you to see. Here it is, the Travelers Company. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comments, here to the right, or if you're watching this replay, feel free to drop them down below. So this is the Travelers Company. This is their USA website. So this is a company that started, I think, in 2011 back in Nakameguro, Tokyo, Japan. And they have a shop there where they were doing these, really kind of cutesy, cool, like notebooks. I didn't learn about them until about 2014 when they opened their store inside the shopping area of Narita Airport. And, back then we're flying through Narita quite often. And I saw this shop. It's really cool. They got some cool stuff, some cool stickers they were doing with like Pan Am aircraft and, cartoony. And it looked nice stuff. But, really, for, many, many years, I've been using this type of notebook, these larger journal style notebooks. And these are basically drawing notebooks. So they have thick, heavyweight paper, and I can use any kind of pencil or pen or whatever I want to use in them to do any kind of sketching. And I use this for pretty much everything, any kind of notation that I'm making as far as any kind of project, or if we're working on new recipes or different types of menu development items, everything goes in here. And I think it's a great way to go. Really, it's something that I have many volumes of. This is actually book H. So that's what, book 11. And, it's this, I started doing this heavily back in about 2007. And, it's a great way for you to have a recollection of all the work that you're doing. So I highly recommend it. I like using it. And, but for me, this is the style that I use it. So this idea of these traveler notebooks, they just really didn't fit the style that I was planning on doing, right? So this is their stuff, and they've got these spiral rings. But what really has most people interested in are these regular sized travelers notebooks, and they're kind of about half the size of this type of journal drawing book. But as you can see, these are the different covers that come with it, and then you can, let's see, where is there? Oh, here. Then they've got all these inserts. Now, I'm going to show you. So they've got all this stuff, and you can go there and you can buy it, and you can go to the Narita shop. But unfortunately, this trip that I took to Tokyo earlier, right before the summertime, it wasn't, we flew through Haneda, so there was no flying through Narita. And so I wasn't going to hit that shop, and Nakameguro isn't necessarily like within the realm of going there. At least for me, that I probably should have gone, but sometimes you only have, there's some place you want to do and so little time to do it in that you really can't manage. But let me rewind a little bit. So like I said, I hadn't really thought too much about their notebooks and stuff like that, because it just wasn't the type of style that I liked or that I used on the normal basis. And then I came across this guy. What's his name? This guy here, Maurice from Maurice Moves. I came across one of his videos because I was looking for, some kind of pouch to carry my cameras for the channel as we're shooting, one. And he's a real big guy that's into, he's really big into EDCs. Like, it seems like most of his videos are EDC this, EDC that. And if you're not familiar with EDC, which I wasn't originally, it means everyday carry. So he likes to carry all this gadgetry and stuff in his bag. Personally speaking, I don't really like that kind of stuff. I don't really care to carry too much stuff with me. Hey, let me let it play for a little bit. But he's really into it. And so one of the things he's really into is the Traveler's Notebook journal. And so as he's talking about it, I was like, oh, maybe I should reconsider this. And then another YouTuber named Lily, what is Lily's channel? Probably should have had this ready. Anyway, Lily from Portland, who I converse with, she's partners with Aaron Parecki, if you're familiar with Aaron, since and the YouTube tech world. And she's also really into these travelers notebooks. She went to Japan and she bought her own. And I was like, maybe I should give it a try, right? I'm going to give it a try. So I decided that when I flew to Japan that I was going to give these travelers notebooks a try. And I get out there and, it's not something that, you can find them. And so basically there's a place, one of my favorite stores in Tokyo is a place called Tokyu Hands, Tokuhand, Tokyu Hands. And they've got a couple different stores scattered around the metropolitan area. And they have all kinds of cool stuff. Like I literally will spend hours there. If you want to see what it looks like, this is the name. Oh, my goodness, this phone. These cameras, man, I tell you what, all these batteries and everything, there's always something that just does it to you. Tokyu Hands, there it is, Tokyu Hands. That is the name of the department store. And you go there and you get all kinds of cool stuff that is, just awesome. Coffee gadgets, kitchen gadgets, house gadgets, tools. It's the array is bewildering, but it's really a great little shop. And anyway, so I'm there and I decided that they had a stand display for the Travelers Company. So this is what I was looking through this stuff, and I decided that I'm going to get these items. Let me get this out of the way here. I really felt that, I like the Travelers Notebooks, but one of the things about the Travelers Notebooks that I noticed when I was looking at them in person, especially their covers, is that these covers are super simple. Like they're just basically, one piece of leather that is just folded over, has some holes punched in it, and has some elastic. And I was thinking, oh, it's kind of pricey. It's kind of pricey. Like it was 5,500 yen. As you can see here on the US website, it's $55. And 5,500 yen, especially in May, was about $35 to $37. So it's actually more expensive to buy it from the US website. Of course, getting it for 5,500 yen, $37 means you have to fly to Japan. So how many hundreds and thousands are you spending just to fly there? But if you're there, it's a great deal. But I decided I was going to, it's kind of pricey, but let me see what they got. And so let me get these aside. So I picked up these notebooks. They have them in grid formation, right? Like this grid here. There's a grid. There you go. And these, I got two grids. And you have the numbers are marked here so you can see. Let me put this down a little bit because it's a little bit bright. The exposure is a little bit off. I don't use auto exposure. I like to use manual exposure. So you've got that, and then you've got like in paper cream. I got the lined as well as the dot grid, and I don't really know why I chose any of those. Like it's like I was just I've never used them, so I'm just getting a variety of those inserts that I can use just because, right? So but what they have things like this. Line notebooks, grid notebooks, blank notebooks. I've pretty much got all that. Pocket stickers. So I guess you can use these stickers and make pockets with it. A free diary. I guess that means that there's dates in it. And then what I thought was really interesting. So they've got all these stuff. And like I said, the other one was like $35. And I was like, I don't want to spend $35 for the leather case, especially since it's so simple. Like if it had pockets and like some kind of finishing, that was more detailed. Okay, cool. That might it'd be worth it. But I have some leather experience, very little leather experience, mind you. But like, for example, I made this desk, right? This is actually Italian leather here on the, oh, come on now. Oh, these battery things, they're always such a challenge. But Oh, cameras and tech. They're just never that easy, are they? Anyway, so I've done some leather work, and I thought, let me go and I'll just buy the inserts. And then I noticed they had these things. These are the repair kits, right? The repair kits. They sell them on the website as well, right? So they've got them here on the website. $13. I mean, it's definitely more expensive on the website here than it is. Maybe it was 130 yen. I don't know, but it wasn't that expensive. And then, as you can see, there's different colors. So I got different colors just in case I want to mix and match or do something. I don't really know what I wanted to do. And then there's even these connecting rubber bands, right? And these connecting rubber bands are used so that you can add additional. Like these are designed to hold like maybe one or two of these, and you use those rubber bands to wrap around and secure additional inserts. Now there's different ways to hack around that. There's this one woman on YouTube that what is her name? Her name is I can't remember. She's got a couple great videos on how to make your own covers by using leather. Now that I need to look it up, I can't tell you what it is. Let me look at my history here. Here he is. She's Seaweed Kisses. Seaweed Kisses. She's got a couple nice videos here online about here on YouTube about how to make your own. And what she's doing is basically she's taking these pre-cut leather pieces from Michael's and she's just using that. And the thing about that is that if you look closely on her page, it actually says genuine leather, right? So if you go to where is it? See how it says? Oh goodness! All right, right there it says genuine leather, and it's. I think hers is what she's showing is a relatively affordable way to do it. Really simple way. I mean, it's all pre-cut. It's really great to use. But the one thing, if you're depending on how deep you want to get into it, the problem with genuine leather is genuine leather. When it says genuine leather, it's still leather. It's still technically a leather product, but it's more of a leather product rather than what's called top hide. Top hide is like the true quality. It's the actual like top skin of the leather. Whereas genuine leathers, what happens with those is that they are taking a lot of the shavings and all of the little offcuts and they're mashing them all together. And then they're essentially pressing them onto like a mesh to create a leather. And so you notice if you've ever had a leather couch or sofa or chair or whatever, and after many years of use or while of use, the leather is flaking off, that's genuine leather. That's one of the problems with genuine leather. Whereas top hide doesn't do any of that. It's truly the thickness, it's truly the skin of the cow or of whatever animal that it might be. So not that that's necessarily going to matter, but if you are using it over many years and you start to mess with it more, like it'll flake off. Like I had this one case from Muji. Was it Muji? From Japan, that was an iPhone case. And the nice thing, I always thought that I was waiting for it to get that nice patina, and only parts of it patina, parts of it wouldn't patina. Then after a while, everything's molded to a plastic case, and then after a while, it started flaking off, and it's like, this is genuine leather. And anyway, we're not going to worry too much about that, but just beware, if you do get like this product here that says genuine leather, that you're going to get something that perhaps will wear out over time. Now, in this case, I probably shouldn't worry about things like that because the first case that we're making is really just about testing it out, right? But really, I've got some leather left over from projects. So, like I said, I did this desk here that I'm using. from genuine leather, wrapped it. But before I did this desk, I wanted to like get a feel for working with leather and stitching leather. So I did another table that I wrapped with something called pull-up leather. And so I've got a bit of that left there. And what is pull-up? So this is actually the whole top grain, right? Hopefully you can see some of this, but like basically this is really supple. You can see here the bottom, and it's kind of thick, probably about maybe 6 millimeters. And what makes pull-up leather is pull-up is that it's impregnated with, it's a chrome tan leather that is then impregnated with oils and types of oils and waxes, so that you get this real supple feel. And then when you see how it's getting a little bit more lighter where my finger is underneath it. That's the thing about pull-up leathers. Like you can, it's really a nice leather. And I use this to wrap a table. And sometimes you'll find if you ever come by and you see the table, you'll actually notice, and you look closely, you'll notice on the table that there's actually a branding mark. I found a hide that had a pull-up hide that had branding on it. And I was like, oh, I'm going to use that as a feature on the table. But anyway, so what I did is I basically took these inserts, measured them out, and then decided to figure out how we're going to make the models to cut out, and so basically this is what we're doing. Travels Journal project. And so there's individual notebooks and the leather cover, but this is the kind of where we're closing for the final part. And as you can see here, we're talking about 23 centimeters by 24, and it would be 24 to 28. And so depending on how much you want to stuff in here, right? So if you cut it at 23, you could probably put a couple without any problem. If you cut out to 26 to 28, you could put a lot more inserts and not have them sticking beyond this edge, right? It's more of a stylistic choice, however you want it to be. And then of course there's the holes, right? We're going to punch 5 holes into it. Now on the traveler's cases, they're punching there's 5 holes, because what we're doing is we're taking the holes, and what we're going to do is we're going to wrap these elastics through the holes and use that to secure the binders, the inserts, into the cover. Now the center hole, while it's centered here on the traveler's official ones, they place them right about here in the center of the panel. And it's then you stick the elastic in there, and that's what holds it in place, that you use to wrap it around. Now of course that puts a little bit of, since you're using knots, there's a little bulge there. So by putting that here in the center where the spine would be, it just kind of like covers that, and it still has the same functionality. Plus, this other gentleman that I was looking at his video, he showed a way of doing it so that you could run the elastic through all 5 holes and have the loop and secure your inserts. And I was like, okay, well, that's a good way to do it. Now, he was using a spool of elastic string. I only have what they gave me in this pack, and so we're going to choose. And so I also took the leather, and this approach is super simple. Like, this is actually a part of a larger project so this is where I started out. This was my original plan when I was buying the inserts, was to use this just exactly like this. Very simple, very, very similar to the actual Travelers Company approach. And then as I thought about it more, I thought, well, you know what if I made it a little bit fancier? It could be like a new leather project for me to work on. And so I was visiting Steve at Beto's Leatherworks. He's another YouTuber on here, much bigger than my channel. And he does, leather repair, bag repair for all kinds of people and all kinds of things. And I said to him, hey man, do you happen to have any like LV material lying around that I could buy from you or something? He's like, yeah, man, just take this bag. And he gave me this bag. I don't have it with me. It's in the workshop. But he gave me this shell of LV, the canvas, and basically what you've all seen it, the monogram canvas, and basically it's a cotton canvas that's impregnated with polyvinyl chloride to give it a nice resistance. And why they started and why that all came about was because way back in the 1800s, when Louis Vuitton was just starting out, everybody the rich people traveled with trunks. But the thing about the trunks in those days, it was just basically pressed paper. And so they had to make the trunks with dome lids. And that's why trunks have dome lids, because as they would sit in like rail cars or whatever, the rail cars weren't sealed that well. So it would rain and rain would fall through the cracks and they would fall onto the trunks. And by having a dome cover, even though they were like pressed paper shells, that dome cover allowed the water to roll off and not necessarily to penetrate and destroy and damage the luggage. Louis Vuitton, by coming out with this, PVC impregnated canvas, could now make flat, rectangular trunks that you could easily stack and fit more in a boxcar. And that's really part of what propelled LV, from against everyone else. But that, of course, it's become this larger project where I'm going to mimic the style of the Brazza wallet, but I need like other leathers. And so I went to the leather store last week and they didn't have the leather that I'm looking for. So that's going to be a longer project. So I thought, let's continue on with the pull-up and let's make it work. All right, let's see if I can keep the camera running for a little while longer. All right, so as you can see here, I have done some edge painting. I got some leather acrylic paint and edge painted it blue. One thing about chrome tan leathers, you can't do burnishing of the edges, which means you polish the edges like you would with veg tan leathers, right? So that's just not possible. So as you can see, a little bit of a detail here. My first time doing this kind of edge painting, so I made a little bit of mistakes, but that's just the way it goes. So for this, we're going to utilize, I don't know, what do we use? Maybe we'll use this lighter blue. That could be kind of fun. Or perhaps this mustard. Or this tan. This tan might be the nicer way to go. I'm going to reserve something like the dark blue and maybe the orange for the later build with the LV material. But maybe we'll utilize that. Yeah, let's utilize that. All right, we've got some instructions here. Ooh. This is a repair kit used to repair and customize your traveler's notebook. For English version, see the back of this page. Oh, there we go. Pass the rubber band. So passing the rubber bands through here should be relatively simple. I've seen them do it online. I said we're going to use this one. Hopefully there's enough. So I'm going to take this. Oh, yeah, there's plenty. Excellent, excellent. All right, we're going to push this through here. And then through here. Now, why do we have two holes, right? Remember, these are the holes that this is the band that's going to hold your inserts in place. So as you can see here, you want the top and bottom holes to be larger than your actual inserts, right? can see that. Let me zoom in a little bit here. There we go. And that will be the right way to do it. And you want to try to keep about we can trim this up later. Something like that. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take this part, and we're going to, I don't know if I can just push it through. We're going to take this, and we're going to push it through this hole. These are 3/16 hole, I think. Yeah, great. So we can pull that through here. And that's going to be a big part of our come there and then back around here. Nice. All right, good. So that's kind of giving us, this will give us the loop that we need. And then, as you can see here, we fold that over, and then this will be our, oh yeah, that works pretty darn well. Right, there we go. And then now we will take the interior and tie it up. We want to make it just a little bit bulginess. And we're going to do a square knot. All right, I think that'll be good. And then let's take this lined one. I don't need that piece. Nice. So basically, you can see you open this up, and it's so bright. Sorry. And we're just going to slip that under here. Is that the right way? Oh, I guess there is no right way. Now that's a bit loose, so we could tighten that up. We want to tighten that up. That's too loose. How do we do that? Oh, is that tight enough? Maybe that's not tight enough. Let's see. All right, that's pretty much it. Now we can trim off these extra pieces, but really I'm not going to trim those off too much because I want to see how much we need to, what kind of adjustments we're going to need to make, right? Like maybe that, I think by tightening it up, I kind of shorten this up here, right? Because now it's pretty tight to close that. But let's see if I took a couple more of these inserts. How would that work? Would that work? Yeah, more or less that works. All right, there we go. All right, so these other ones now, these other bands, basically my understanding is that you're going to take these, and if I wanted to add more, right? So we've got the one on the inside. Now, if we want to add more of these, we would add one of these bands. So let's try that. Let's give it a try. We can take, let's say this one. English on the back. And I believe that these work by simply putting these around the outer cover. And then you take the next one and insert it as thus. And now you've got two books. Now, of course, this is where you might want to consider how you approach this, right? So in this one plan that I picked up, they put three sets of holes here so that you could have three bands running through it without using this rubber band thing. Now, I think on the Travelers versions, the tolerances are a lot tighter, right? So as you can see here, there's a lot more space, maybe another centimeter or half a centimeter on each end extra. Now, on the Travelers, it's a lot tighter, so you won't have this problem with the pull-up. Or if you use a heavier duty leather, you won't have that problem either, or that kind of potential problem. But let's pull this back over. There it is. Huh. All right. Not bad. We can go for a third one. Let's go for a third one. I mean, I got all these inserts. Might as well use them, right? Let's take the same color because we're using all brown. Or let's use a black. Let's use a dark one. Let's use a black one. Why not? Why not? We have a choice, and we can do more later if we don't like it. Again, just wrap that elastic band around down there. Then we're going to take our final step. This one's the MD paper cream, right? We're going to take that and put that in. Now, of course, when you have all the binders in, they kind of, there's little inserts. They give a little bit more resistance and, stiffness to it. All right, that may be a little bit tight. I might have to, adjust that. Of course, everything's about adjusting. You want to adjust everything as you need it. But there it is. I mean, that's pretty much the notebook system from Travelers. I don't know if I like this order of the notebooks. Like, this is a dotted grid. This one is the lined, and this. Oh, I don't have a gridded one. Well, let's put the other one in later. All right, so that's kind of a quick approach to doing this using your own leathers. I think it's a good way to, it could be a nice project. You can make your own leather case. You could probably do a lot better job than I did. But, and the nice thing about this, if you go there and get some leathers, you might be able to go to a shop and get some remnant leathers, or like Seaweed Kisses said in her videos, you can go to Michael's and get just the size of leather that you need. And, probably it's like $12. I think it's fairly inexpensive because it's using genuine leather. So it's not, if you're buying top grain leathers like this, that truly is highest quality leathers, it's going to cost a lot. And you're going to have to buy probably a lot more than you need. So it's a nice idea if you have a couple extra to make projects with, and maybe to give to friends and loved ones. But, there it is. Just kind of a quick thing. I'm going to try to use this and see how I like using it. And one of the nice things also, here's the thing. So, like, as you can see here, it's kind of like, folding over because of the tension, right? Which is, for me, the OCD part of me, I think is kind of unsightly. But the nice thing about doing this yourself is that if it really drives me insane, I can always trim it all up. I can trim it on both ends, get closer to the hole. If I need to punch a new hole, I can. So there's a lot of a lot of ways to adjust. And there's so many things you can do. But if you just start to like make your own case, there's so many things you can do. Like I saw this one idea of having like a pen loop here, like stitched in. I thought that's a good idea. There's a pen loop that you can clip on. So I'm working on those. I'm working on how to make those projects just for myself. But here it is. So the Traveler's Company, you can make your own case and I use their hardware because I thought, you know what, it's their stuff. Let's give as much support as we can. But I didn't need to spend that money on the leather itself, since I have plenty of leather here. All right, so I hope this was informative. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments down below. Yeah, this is a little bit more low tech than we normally talk about here on the Ono Tech channel. And if you're interested in coffee and stuff like that, I also have my main channel is called Ono Coffee here. And that's where we do most of our YouTube work. A lot of videos from our travels and stuff like that. We're releasing some of the videos from the trip that I picked these up on in Japan and Bangkok, as well as the Philippines, and some from Malaysia. So a lot more stuff to come. And if you're interested, come check us out. And thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you have a great Sunday and a great day from whenever you're watching this. And look forward to seeing you next time.